Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. Today, I want to show you the real star of this channel, this show. It's definitely one of the best pedal-friendly and guitar-friendly amps in the world. It might as well be the number one. It's the Revv Dynamis 740. I've been using this amp for a couple of years now. I've been playing hundreds of shows with it and recorded hundreds of videos with it. And I just realized that I never really talked about it, which is a shame because whenever I get a compliment on my guitar tone, whether it's a pedal demonstration, a video on a guitar, whatever it is, this head has so much to do with that. Today, I want to show you the features and specs of the Dynamis, and also I want to kind of explain why I'm so much in love with this amp. Before we do that though, a quick reminder, please subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing here, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and check out the description box under the video. Just open that show more or whatever it's called, the info box. You'll find gear links if you want to check this stuff out, what I'm using, my signal chain, additional infos, etc. Let's talk about the details and the specs of the Dynamis. I'll start with the clean channel because that's the reason why I fell in love with this amp, and that's mainly the channel you hear in my videos. The awesome thing about this clean channel, this one right over here, is that it just lets every guitar sound the way they sound. It doesn't color too much. It has a certain character, definitely, but it's not like when you plug in a Marshall, like a JCM 800, and then all of a sudden, every guitar sounds like a guitar through a JCM 800. Or the same thing for, I don't know, an AC30 or a deluxe reverb, like a Fender. If you plug any guitar into those amps, the amp's character is just so strong that it just influences your perception of that tone. This also has its character and it has its certain warmth that I love about it, but it still lets every guitar do its thing. So you plug in a Strat, it just sounds like, oh, that is a Strat, a Tele 335, whatever it is. It just really lets the guitar, the pickups, the pedal, whatever you plug into it, sound the way they should without any extreme coloration. Another very important thing that convinced me to buy this amp a few years ago is that the clean channel sounds ridiculous no matter where the volume is. So it's an interesting channel. You don't have a gain and then master or volume or whatever. It just has one volume. And if you go down, it's going to be pretty clean. If you start cranking it up, it just starts to become more and more gritty. And then if you crank it, it's just not a clean channel anymore at all. It starts to distort around 12 o'clock. And then depending on if you play a humbucker or a single coil guitar, it just becomes, you know, an AC/DC crunch all of a sudden. And it's just really cool. But it always sounds awesome. If you cannot be too loud on stage or at home, just turn it up until the point where it starts to give you any sort of a sound, and it's going to be a really pretty and warm and rich sound. You go up, it just becomes more open and you get more of that power amp sweetness, of course. And if you crank it, it's not going to be one of those like Fender blackfacey kind of really scratchy kind of cranked clean sound, which is awesome for vintage styles, like old school stuff. This is more like a Marshall if you crank it, because it just has a very sweet yet still sort of nasty power amp saturation. It's very usable wherever you have that volume knob. It's a full tube amplifier. It has 6 V6 power amp tubes, and you can scale down the 40 watts to 7 watts per channel independently. Like you can mix it or just leave both on 40 watts or whatever you want. Another thing is, obviously it has an effects loop, which you can turn on and off with its huge pedal that the amp comes with. I usually have it off because I mainly use the clean channel, so I have all my pedals in front of the amp. About the overdrive channel, the second channel here, it's not Revv's normal tight high gain metal sound. It doesn't have that super modern, super defined tone. It's more of a really cool alternative clean tone, crunchy clean tone, up to like old school rock. And I really love using it for a different clean tone. You can set it up pretty much clean. Like if you're using a humbucker, like a hot pickup, it will get a little hairy, but you can adjust the gain way down and see what's up with the volume to match the volume of your clean channel. And you can make this sound just a little different, but still clean. That's what I love doing for, let's say, a few fuzz pedals, because the headroom is going to be different, the dynamic range and the reaction of the amp is going to be different if you use the overdrive channel that way compared to its clean channel. So if I want to use a fuzz pedal without all the headroom of the clean channel, then I'll do that with the overdrive channel, where I just adjust the gain up until I think that I arrive to like a sweet spot of that fuzz pedal, right? Because fuzzes are really tricky, and if you pair it with like a super clean amp, might sound a little too fizzy or whatever. Depends on the pedal, of course, and on the situation, on the guitar and the volume and everything, but this is a really, really nice secondary clean channel. And now I want to show you how I normally use the Dynamis, which is going to be its clean channel. And I have the treble, middle, and bass knobs pretty much at 12 o'clock because it's so balanced. So for me, the main thing about an amp, like my main amp, is that it has to work with every single overdrive pedal and fuzz pedal. I love using pedals, and I get pretty much all the drive that I want, overdrive, from pedals, one or two or multiple pedals, and it always works. That's just my thing. And if you think about all the classic, really nice amps, they all kind of prefer a certain kind of drive. Like if we're talking about a Fender Blackface amp, you might want drive pedals that will push the mid-range a bit, at least, or a lot, because those amps just have a really sparkly top end and a really nice low end and kind of a a hole in the middle. So you want maybe a drive that fills up that hole, otherwise it might just sound too fizzy. Complete opposite if we're talking about a very warm and dark sounding amp, where you don't want to push the mids because it just gets too muddy and just too much. With this amp, you can plug in whatever you want. Plug in a scooped sounding pedal like the Boss Blues Driver, sounds awesome. Plug in the SD1, which has a massive amount of mid hump, it will sound awesome. Another cool thing about it is that it does MIDI. It has a MIDI in plug, so you can control all of its features via MIDI, which is cool, of course. You can swap channels, you can turn the reverb on and off, you can turn the effects loop on and off, and there's a solo feature on it, which is like a volume boost. It just does so much. It's a super clever amp. Too bad I literally only use its clean channel. This is really not a review of this amp. This is a love story, I guess. All right, everyone, let me know in the comments below what you think about whatever you heard today. All the guitar sounds, all the specs, whatever. If you have any questions, of course, hit me up down there in the comments. I'll be there checking them out. And of course, see you in the next video next week. Bye-bye.